This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Well, welcome to this week's episode of Loving Animals with Dr. Robin Ganzert. I'm your host, Robin, and I'm so thrilled that you're able to join us for this week's episode of our wonderful show celebrating the healing power of the human-animal bond. This week's episode is going to be all about dogs. Yes, we are going to be talking about an incredible new company called All About Dogs that really does specialize in incredibly beautiful, functional, practical, premium pet beds. And actually, my dog Daisy has one of these very incredible pet beds, and I can tell you she loves it. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Loving Animals. We'll be right back.
I love cleaning the litter box, said no one ever. Luckily, there's World's Best Cat Litter, the litter that promises less mess with less litter. Only World's Best Cat Litter uses the concentrated power of corn to quickly trap odors in tight clumps. And quick clumping means you never have to chisel or scrape the box. Less cleanup with less wasted litter? That's a litter bit amazing. Save $2 on World's Best Cat Litter. Visit www.saveonworldsbest.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back to Loving Animals with your host, Robin Ganzert. Joining me for this week's show is Luigi Colantoni, and I wanted to make sure that I said his name right. Luigi Colantoni, welcome to our show. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you, Robin. Yes, you pronounced it perfectly, beautifully. But first of all, we need to thank you for inviting us on the show, and it's quite an honor for us to be on it.
Well, you are so gracious, and I have to tell you, it's us who has to really thank you because you have been donating these beautiful, beautiful dog beds to all of our graduates of our Shelter to Service Veteran and Service Team program. And, you know, we've just finished an episode with Chris Ford, who is the CEO of the National Association of Veteran Serving Organizations, and he has been such a champion in the veteran community about our Shelter to Service Dog program, and we couldn't do that program without partners such as you, Luigi, and so we're so grateful for what you do to provide these incredible products to our shelter dogs, our service dog teams. It's an incredibly generous gift, and I know it goes a long way for these veterans to have such an incredibly beautiful product in their home when they bring home their service dog. So thank you so much for this.
No, it's an absolute pleasure and an honor for us to participate in that program. We came about it quite by chance, really an extension of what we were doing back home, where we work with a lot of the rescue societies. And we always try and give something back, which I know a lot of people say that, Robin, but for us, having come into this business by chance, really is by default. I'm an economist by training, and Amanda, my partner, she's a paralegal, and we decided to make the most beautiful and the best beds for our own rescue dogs, and quite arrogantly decided to go ahead and manufacture, which was 3 years ago. And now we think we've achieved that, but we want to give something back. And when we came to Philadelphia, having done this work here, someone said to us, "Have you spoken to American Humane?" We said, "No, we don't. We don't know them." And someone kindly introduced us. And it was just before the first graduation by these veterans and their lovely dogs in New York last year. Mm-hmm. And we were so bowled over by that program. We were, amongst all the great work you do, I think that was the closest to our hearts. And we thought, well, we have to get involved somehow. And we said, well, why don't we donate them some of our products, the bed and blanket. And it was really quite a moving experience, because all we asked in return was a pic of their babies in their beds. And wow, when we saw that, we said, well, we have to extend our contribution to this program. And we have. And really, we're getting so much pleasure out of this and such great rewards that we want to extend it further on to all the graduates that come out of this program, because we feel that both the four-legged baby and the owner need something beautiful to start their life together. And hopefully we can make a small contribution to that.
It's a remarkable contribution. It is so beautiful and so impactful for the veterans, and so truly for their dogs as well. Let's talk a little bit about All About Dogs. I know that it's a South African company, and you're specializing in this, and I love the fact that you are truly a cottage industry.
Very much so. It's been it's obviously much more difficult to be a cottage industry because it's the way the world is going now. Everything's mass-produced, and we wanted to help the workers, the people on the ground, as well as the babies, the furry babies, and we thought we must keep it on a small scale. So all our beds are handcrafted by skilled craftsmen, and we support these small industries. All our products are locally sourced, and it is so difficult in South Africa and Africa generally to find these skills these days. So much of that old skill like weaving is disappearing. So we're helping it to come back, and by our little contribution on that end as well. So we don't want to sound too philanthropic, but at the same time we feel that we have to give back. Having come this far, we need to give back. Having always been involved in rescues, we need to give something back here as well.
So talk to us about your commitment to animals on a personal level, which is so noble and laudable, because you've been a rescuer for some time, and I think you have a large rescue dog at home. Am I right?
Yes, he's very large. He's a 200-pound Great Dane.
That's large.
That is large, yes. He's. I'm sure he could make the Guinness Book of Records, but he's an absolute baby. We got him at 7 months. He was rehomed at 7 months. We also have a labby, a beautiful yellow labby. She's 11. She was rescued from a breeder. And I always say these rescues often turn out to be the most expensive free dogs you're ever going to get, unfortunately.
Very true.
Yes, her little body is packing up at an alarming rate, but we love them so much, and we feel that we could never buy a dog, seeing that there's so much need out there. And we've been involved with our own and with rescue societies going back for ages. We tend to specialize in Great Danes and Labradors, only because they're such a great fit. They tend to get on so well. The Labrador tends to mother a big Great Dane, and it's a lovely fit, and we will continue to do so.
That's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Luigi, what was your very first animal when you were growing up?
It was a German Shepherd. He was a beautiful black German Shepherd who used to protect me against my mother. Whenever I did something wrong, I can sit next to him. So I had fond memories of that dog.
Oh, I love that. And your lovely wife, Amanda, I know that you both founded All About Dogs. You were talking a little bit in our opening of our show about her commitment to animals, too. Does she have a very favorite first pet as well, like your German Shepherd?
Yeah, she tended to go for more the sort of mixed breeds, pavements, sort of specials, pick them up on the road type of dog. And she had numerous dogs that were literally indescribable in terms of what they were, but they were just so dear to her. That's why, unfortunately, we were both so close to rescues and having rescue dogs. And working so close with rescue societies, we tend to understand the need if you're doing it yourself and trying to help at the same time. It's easy to give money, Robin, but it's another thing to get involved and make a contribution. It's so much more difficult.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about where we can find out more about your pet beds. How can someone who's listening to today's show buy one, get one, see what they look like? Because they simply are gorgeous, and the craftsmanship of them is just exceptional, just a work of beauty.
Yes, thank you. They're beautiful, but they're also very practical and functional. I think that we set out to achieve that first, and then the beauty followed. They're particularly good, for example, for old and arthritic dogs because they have a double spring system. They're off the ground. They're light because they have an aluminum frame. They aerate it so they don't smell so badly, because our problem was always Our babies have always slept in their own separate baskets all over the house. And one of the first things we had to do when guests arrived was to clear away the dog beds because they weren't very attractive to look at. Whereas with these, we try to make them that they're really like pet furniture. You look at them, you think, well, it fits in. And the fact that they're so functional is also so amazing for us. If you consider that they're good for the owner, we say they're good for the owner and the pet. One of our problems with, and speaking to so many people in rescue, was that you have to be able to cope with the older dogs. Everyone talks about the puppies, and we love puppies. But it's the older dogs that are more difficult, and they tend to be a bit more messy in their beds, and they wet their beds and things like that. And our beds are fully washable, so literally you can take it outside and wash it down, and it's light because, as I say, it has an aluminum frame. Our principle, what was good or going to be good for our babies, was going to be good for everybody else's babies. So it was really, we started from that, and we hopefully have achieved that because the feedback we're getting is positive. But more important, by working with people who are going to have these beds for a number of years, we say that it has to be prime quality, and we put so much love into these beds and so much attention. We tested and tried them with all sorts of people. And we donated beds to rescue societies for a while and asked them to please test them for us in case they had chewers. And in fact, a lady that bought one in the US, and she had a Goldie, sent us a message, said, "Thank you so much. This is the first bed that my dog hasn't eaten." So for us, that sort of feedback was so rewarding.
I love that.
And I think for the veterans, Robin, it's so lovely for them to start a life together with something that's durable, and it's lovely to look at because we think this bed will last them 10 years. And to have a memory of something they started together, and it's there for a long time, and it looks good. And that, I think, is the feedback we're getting from the vets. That we find incredibly rewarding.
Luigi, I know that you have a Facebook page. All About Dogs has a Facebook page where people can see these gorgeous beds. Again, practical, functional, but importantly, there's such a beauty about them. You also say hygienic, which I think is so important, and comfortable for the older senior dogs. So All About Dogs Facebook page is live and up and running. Where else can they learn more?
They can go to our website. Obviously, we have a nice website that got some lovely pics from... Everyone's a volunteer in this business. We haven't got any paid workers apart from the weavers, obviously, but everyone else tries to chip in because they do it for the love of the dog. So all the lovely pics taken by volunteer photographer in Philadelphia, for example. There are some lovely pics because they come in 5 colors. So you can color code them to your furniture, to your likes, and they can go onto the website. And it's just simple. It's www.allaboutdogs.us. And it gives them so much more information. And by the way, they will also notice that kitties have been very popular with our beds. It gives them such an amazing sheltered area that we're finding that a lot of kitty owners are buying them, and which is again lovely. So I can see photographs of kids. And by the way, we've had our first piglet. The owner bought her little piglet a beautiful bed, and she looks absolutely stunning in it.
I read that on Facebook, and I love that. I love it. So much fun. Not just for dogs, for cats, and even piglets.
Yes, and that's the other thing. We try and create a all about dog family of owners in the business. We're not a high volume, basket buying on e-commerce. We literally like to be proactive and interactive with our buyers. We advise them on colors, on sizes, on especially with dogs. People tend to either overestimate the size of their dogs or underestimate our baskets. So we try and say to them, well, if you have a little fella, trust me, small is sufficient. So we don't just try and sell beds. We try and create that feeling of joining something, and because pet owners are an incredible set of people.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I think you've done a beautiful, marvelous job. And I think what's so important about the work you're doing in terms of All About Dogs is new young company that's specializing in these stylish and beautiful premium pet beds. I think the most important thing is you're giving back. You yourself as a rescuer, you having an incredible rescue family. That's just so important that you're giving back to the rescues that you've seen save so many lives over the years. And I'm personally so grateful for all you've done for our shelter to service veteran and service dog teams. You've helped to change their life and kick off their new partnership and their new friendship in such a beautiful way. So thank you for what you do for these shelter and service dog teams.
Robin, if you have a minute for me, I'd like to thank you and All About and American Humane for inviting us to last year's Eurodog Awards in Los Angeles. It was quite an amazing experience for us, mostly and mainly because we didn't know, we only knew a few people there, and yet after the Friday night, we felt we were part of something, we were part of a family, because we had something in common. We all had the same thing in common. It was the shelter dogs and the service people, and we made a point of meeting all 7 of the finalists and chatting to the humans and meeting the furry babies. And it was such an amazing experience that we would like to then look into donating a bed to all the finalists in future, because I think for the same reason as the vets are getting for the shelter to service.
You have made our day here. Thank you so much. Our hero dogs are incredible working animals, and I'm so glad you enjoyed our 2017 Hero Dog Awards. And for our listeners, I know many of you know that Abigail won, but we had 7 incredible winners that we celebrated that night, and we're kicking off the 2018 campaign now. And to have this be part of the prize package, Luigi, would be over the moon. So thank you so much for your generosity and for your kindness. We're so grateful.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, and we decided there and then that we need to make a contribution. Again, as I say, we could have gifted some money, or we could have gifted a bed like we did last time, but we would like the finalists to go to have something to remember it by, and I think this will probably make it a worthy contribution.
Oh, we are so grateful. Thank you so very much. And I hope you'll join us for the 2018 Hero Dog Awards, again in Beverly Hills, where we celebrate heroes on both ends of the leash. I'm so glad you and Amanda found that weekend to be so special. It's my favorite weekend of the entire year.
Yes, but it looked like it was hard work. You were
definitely hard work. I tell you, we go that entire weekend, and it's months in advance of the campaign, and of course we record all the television segments for our friends at Hallmark and produce a 2-hour television special every year. We've done that now for 7 years. We're entering our 8th, and we're so proud to have Hallmark as our television partner for this. I don't know, Luigi, if you've seen the DVD of the show, but we'll be sure to get you a copy.
Yes, thank you. I'd love a copy. I did see it, but someone recorded it for us. And when we were in Philadelphia now in November for Thanksgiving, they showed it to us. And it was really having witnessed the recording and the night and then seeing that was very emotional. It was lovely to see. I'll tell you, all 7 of those finalists were winners. I could not separate. Unfortunately, there has to be a winner, but they were all winners for us. And once you showed all the stories, all 7 stories, it wasn't dry eye in the room. We had grown men blubbing like babies at our table, I could tell you. And it was just absolutely so emotional. Congratulations to American Humane, and especially you. With so much hard work, you can just see it. Thank you so much, Rob.
Oh, well, thank you. You're so gracious and so kind. It's a labor of love for all of us who want to use this as a platform to showcase that working dogs do amazing things in our lives. And there's nothing more powerful than the human-animal bond, of which we all celebrate if we love animals. So thank you, Luigi, so very much for what you do. And friends, you can go to allaboutdogs.us. Did I get the website right?
That's right. From there, they can go onto the Facebook page. I think we try and publish the nice stories on our pages on Facebook. We just think there's just so much sadness out there that we just try and just only concentrate on the goodness, and I think people enjoy that, because our last 2 shelter to leash winners have generated a huge amount of interest and support, because it is a good story, and we try and keep it that way.
Beautiful. It is a good story, and it's so wonderful to be able to share those. So thank you for that. Well, friends, you've been listening to Luigi Colantoni, who is the founder, along with his wife, Amanda, of All About Dogs, an incredible South African company that's doing some great things in terms of creating a cottage industry, which is so important, locally sourced materials, which is something great to celebrate, and creating a beautiful, practical, and premium pet bed that your animal, your four-legged best friend, will truly love. Thanks so much, Luigi, for being a partner of American Humane for our service dog program, and now Hero Dogs. We're so thrilled to know you and wish you great success in the expansion of your business.
Well, thank you for having us. Robin, really it's an honor to meet so many dog lovers that do so much for animals generally, and dogs for us in particular. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, friends, you've been listening to this week's episode of Loving Animals with your host, Robin Ganzert. So thrilled to have you tune in today. I know I've learned a lot, and I certainly am so thrilled that we have a partner with All About Dogs. How cool is that? Hope you'll tune in next week where we have another exciting episode with a great friend of ours at American Humane, one of our incredible celebrity ambassadors. So tune in next week to Loving Animals with Robin Ganzert. Remember, this week and every week, I'm loving animals, and I know you do too. Take care.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.